What's up, Kabroda crew? Welcome back to the live stream. Hopefully you all are doing well today. Had some nice little trades tomorrow. A little bit of up, a little bit of down. Hopefully y'all stayed safe, got into some of those trades, traded the battle box. But yeah, we'll head on over there to trade view and kind of see what we got going on. So you can see in the morning we kind of had a little bit of a false breakdown after the stream. And then we actually ended up breaking up. Got a close above the 15-minute. Retest of the 5. We did break that POC on the downside, but if you're watching it, we kind of got another retest right here on the 9:30 candle on the 15-minute. So decent little trade. Went up, hit our second target there. And then later in the day, we kind of had that down trade here. Broke down, had that retest. It was about like 10:45. So if you were up during the night, more of a night trader, then that's the trade you could have gotten into. And then we broke down. I actually went through both targets. Well, all three, I guess, because technically 24 hours probably our last stretch target, and we hit that one for sure. So if you took any of those, nice job. But nice. That's about what yesterday was looking like. If you want a more in-depth kind of little rundown, I guess, of yesterday and kind of what we're looking at, and also just some trading tips and stuff, we got a recap coming out at 10 for yesterday. So make sure you head on over there and check that out at 10. But yeah, overall, a nice little day yesterday. Some decent trades. But yeah, we'll kind of see what we can get tomorrow or for today. We'll see what kind of trades we got going on. Kind of set up the battle box, get it going. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off some of my lines here for the intraday, and I'm gonna actually just delete these ones up here. So we're getting about 110 area, 111 still. Go ahead and we're just gonna start on that battle box. So head on to our battle box screen and we'll get the DMR started. So if you've been here before, we need to get that. We need to get the 4 different screenshots for our time frames, our FRVP levels for both the morning and the 24-hour, and then that 30-minute high and low, as well as a screenshot. So I'm actually going to run over and grab the screenshot real fast. So if y'all don't already know, we always go to cryptocraft.com to get our news events for the day. If you just look it up, cryptocraft.com, you can just click on the calendar, make sure you click on the right day, and then it'll have the news events in there with an impact for how it's going to affect, or how it is most likely going to affect the crypto market. I wouldn't say this is one stop, but typically they're pretty accurate. So anything that's yellow like this is going to be pretty low impact, and then orange here will be moderate, and then above that is going to be red, and that's the ones we're kind of really watching out for. Orange is something to watch out for, but it's not. It's still red will overpower it. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. It's just a bunch of yellows today. It looks like we got one orange that was at 7:30. So that should be over. Even if it was red, it'd be over by now. It takes about, I'm going to give about 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after. That's kind of the news event. So today we got that orange at 7:30. So about 8 o'clock is when it'd be over, which is about now. And then we got another one at another news event at 9, which is a yellow, so nothing to worry about. That's kind of what those look like. So if you check that out, that's what you should find on that website. So I'll head back to trading view, and we're going to start with our 4-hour. I'm going to auto all these up, and then we'll just get some different screenshots. If you've never done screenshots on a computer before. It's just Windows key Shift and S. You can just do a quick little screenshot right there. That's off on Windows, I guess, but makes it easy. You can also, I think it's called like the snipping tool. You can type it into, like look it up on the little search bar down at the bottom. You should be able to find it. Pretty nice and easy. Got all 4 of those screenshots. So 4 hour, 1 hour, 15, and then 5 minute is all on there. Now we'll get those FRVP levels. So the easiest way to do this 1 hour, go to that crosshairs and then down for fixed range volume profile. And then it's just 7 to 7. So today is the 25th. So we're looking for the 24th at 7 to 7 today. And then we'll turn on those 24-hour levels and we'll just drag and drop them. Looks like we're about to break that bottom 24-hour volume area low. Make sure these are kind of lined up. The yellow down a little bit. There we go. So we got our different times on there, our different we got our different levels on there now. So what I like to do is type them into here, and you can take a screenshot, but the screenshots seem to be less accurate, just because it has a harder time reading the levels, especially when you have a lot of lines on your chart and stuff. So the easiest thing to do is just type FRVP levels, and you just go down a little bit and say 24-hour volume area high, BOC, and volume area low. And then you can do the same thing for morning, because we'll have to get that one in a minute. And we'll just paste the same 3, volume area high, POC, and volume area low right under morning. This way we can just copy and paste our levels right into here, and you don't have to do a bunch of work. Makes it nice and easy. Back to trade view. The easiest way to get it from your line. So this is why we put lines on here, because you could use this, but the problem is for this is it doesn't give you the, like, I guess, well, no, see, it doesn't really give you the coordinates of the levels here, so it doesn't help out, because if we had the coordinates of the 3, red, yellow, and blue, then we could just use that, but nope. So we have to put our lines on there like this, and then you click on it, click settings, coordinates, and then you'll just copy the number that's in here. And we'll head back to our GPT and just paste it in the corresponding thing. So that was our 24-hour volume area high, so we'll just paste it right there. Do the same thing for the other 2 levels. Copy, and paste. And once you do one, you can just click on settings and just press Control C, because you actually don't really have to like highlight it to copy it, because it should already be highlighted when you open it. Once you get those 3 levels in there, then we'll move on to the morning. Back to trade view. And for the morning, we just changed the back from 7. So it's from 7 a.m. yesterday to 3 a.m. today. So we'll change it to. And then you can take off your 24-hour levels and turn on your morning ones. And then you just drag and drop these ones, same as the other ones. Alright, so it looks like we already had a breakout of our levels this morning. Already starting to break down. Not too worried about it. It's going to be the same thing for these. You just copy and paste. Should be a decently interesting day though. It's looking kind of like we'll seeming like we'll kind of just break down here, but we'll see. So we got our 3 different levels on there. You can see from here. All 3 levels on there. Now the next thing we'll do is, and last thing, is that 30-minute candle. So I like to type 30-minute candle and then say high. And then I like to type low under that. And so what I'll do here is we'll head back to trade view. I'm going to go to that 30-minute. I'm actually going to, I guess it's not on here. We'll delete that FRVP in a second. But we'll head back to here. I'm going to turn off my lines. And then we'll go to that 7:30 candle, and then up at the top under where it says Kabroda, there's an H and an L. That'll give you your high and your low for the day, or for the candle you're hovering over. So it'd be 111.617 will be the first, the high. And then for the low, we're going to get 110.999. Just like that. So we got all of our levels on there. We got our screenshots, our news event, and then all we need to do is just send it in. We'll kind of see what the battle box has to say about today. All right, so we'll head on to trading view and kind of just go through these one by one, and I'll read what the battle box says, and then we'll kind of like run through it a little bit more, do a little bit of TA, and then we'll move on to the next time frame. But we'll start with that 4 hour. So 4 hour, we got price rejection from 116.7. Okay, so this is what the battle box says. We got that price rejected from 116.7 and cascading lower. Currently, we are testing the shelf near 110.8K. The EMAs are stacked bearishly, and MACD momentum is expanding negative. RSI is also slipping under the midline. The trend pressure is distinctly bearish. So it's talking about this rejection here from technically, I guess 117, but it was, I don't know where I took the screenshot, but I took it like this. So it saw that 116 rejection here, and now we're kind of bouncing around at that 110, kind of just slamming into 110 over and over again. So, or I guess the beginning of 110, so like 110, 110, 110.8. Basically, this is zone like right here. So we're kind of just slamming into this over and over again. So you can see here we wicked down, hit it, and then bounced up and it came down. Now we're testing it again. So we kind of see what happens with that one. The EMAs are stacked bearishly. So I don't believe they're fully stacked bearishly yet. Yeah, so you got, they're not completely bearish yet. But they're getting pretty close to it. So typically when you're bearish, you'd see the yellow, and then it should be this right here, but the opposite. So you see yellow, blue, purple, red, and then white. So we'd have the 200, and then blues to 200, and then you got the 80 at purple, and then red is 50, and then the white one is going to be our 21. Typically, we look at the 21 and the 200 probably the most, but when they're stacked one way or the other, it shows some bearish or bullish influence, I guess. So right now, We're not really stacked either way, but we are starting to get to that variously stacked level. But it will be a bit because that 200 is going to get all the way up here. MACD momentum is expanding negative, so we just fired negative, so we're starting to see that little bit of expansion there. RSI is already on the bottom here of the range. I guess it's below the 50 line, more in the oversold range. So we're seeing the slower moving average low starting to curl over, which could tell us we'll get some more down run here. Stoches are not really relevant in the longer time frames like this, but you can see that we're almost to the bottom of our range here. Just kind of telling us we're getting to the end of our run, but again, stoches on these longer time frames can sit up here for a little while for sure. Divergence wise, we are getting some bullish divergence here still, so you can see we got this uptrend here, and then on the actual chart we got a downtrend with the lows, I guess. We got a downtrend, and then on the R side we got an uptrend. So possible push to the upside just because that bullish divergence is possible, I guess. Something to be watching at. Could mean we get another dip farther, maybe make some even bigger divergence. We'll see. Pattern wise, we are getting a megaphone type pattern. So we'll see what happens with that. We might see something like this. These can kind of break out either way from what I remember, but I don't know. It's not something I'd take a trade off of, but it's something to watch out for. I believe it's continuation pattern, but I don't know. We'll see. It might be a reversal pattern too. Either way, though, megaphone pattern forming. I wouldn't necessarily say that really tells us we're going to go one way or the other, at least as right now. Here, let me check this real fast. Okay, so it's actually either. So I looked it up. So they're kind of, it's either way. Yeah, so you're just waiting for it to kind of break the pattern. It's essentially what it's saying. So you'll just see it bounce like this over and over again, getting bigger and bigger until it breaks one way or the other. So if it breaks the upside, then you take the upside. That's kind of the idea. Again, not something I'd typically look at, but it is on there. So something to, I guess, watch for. That's kind of how you pull a flag. It's just the last high. So we'll either see it break out and take us down to that 107 level, 108 level, which I believe CertMaker was calling that the other day, or we'll take it to the 117, 237 level. So kind of see which way we'll go. Really just depends on which way this breaks. Right now we're kind of sitting on that 110 line right now with the megaphone pattern, so we'll see what happens with that one. All right, moving to the 1 hour. So I'm going to take this off. There we go. All right, so for the 1 hour, the battle box is saying that we got clear breakdown structure. Each rally capped at a declining EMA's current candle is diving into 110.8K zone with no signs of absorption. Momentum is strongly a downward or downtrend align, strongly downtrend align. So basically we can see that we have same kind of pattern. Obviously, it's just more candles essentially on more candles really doing the same thing, I guess. You can see we got the retest here of the 110 level. It believes we're bearish. If you look at the smaller time frame, I guess, so like just this, or like smaller zone, I guess is the chart, like zoom in, I guess, you see kind of a downtrend pattern, which is actually a somewhat of a reversal pattern, so maybe we'll see an uptrend there. That's kind of somewhat far-fetched. It's not a clean pattern for sure. You got the momentum of the MACD kind of flipping up almost, or we're starting to flip up, so you can see we're starting to lose that bearish momentum, turning back the other way. As for RSI, we are getting in that oversold area, and you can see we're starting to slow down, maybe make a curve the other way. Still facing down though, so still technically bearish for right now. But possibly we'll see some flip there. For Stoch we got that we already had a breakdown, and now we're kind of at the bottom. So just like the other two, it's kind of same. We're near the bottom, starting to flip back the other way. Yeah, that's kind of what's happening on the 1 hour. Moving on to the 15-minute. The battle box is saying that we have a flash bleed with lower highs and accelerating lows. RSI is heavily oversold with no divergence. Structure confirms the sell side momentum continuation. So essentially, we got that breakdown here. We're kind of doing the same kind of pattern, almost a reversal pattern, I would say. Flip there, but we'll see. Bootmaker is saying we got a daily pocket around 110, so that actually could be interesting. So golden pocket's actually from where is it? It's from fib levels. Can never find these things, but they're in here. Yeah, they're in fib levels, so essentially, oh yeah, here we go. So you can see when I put it on my chart, this is just May 6th, but you go from high to low, and then so say like we were looking for it to go down, you'd say previous high and then this low, and we're looking for how far it's going to bounce up till we return and drop down farther. About that 0.16 range to the 0.726 range. This zone right here is basically your golden pocket. It's a little bit smaller than this, but essentially if you reach anywhere in this kind of zone here, then we're looking for that. That's kind of where we're looking for it to reverse and break back down even harder. Typically just kind of runs with patterns and stuff too. So it's not just like, oh, draw this and we just imaginary, oh, there's some lines there and you just, okay, we're going down, or like that's not really how it works. So normally we'll do it with some other patterns, but essentially that's kind of what Spirit Maker is talking about, is that we have that golden pocket on the daily. So for the full reversal, we might see that 0.16, 0.725 range is kind of that range at 110. So that'll be around 110 area. So that's kind of what we're looking for that pullback before maybe we turn around and fire up. And fibs are all based off of math. They're actually, I guess if you're bored, you can go ahead and look it up. They're actually pretty crazy. It's like a number system that's basically everything in nature and all sorts of things. So check that out if you're interested in that. or if you're just bored and want something to do. But yeah, that is nice to know. So we got, going back to TA, we got that MACD firing up here. Kind of lost that bearish momentum there, especially on this candle. RSI is currently up to the upside. So we had we started to go up, and then we kind of curled over and started to break back down as we made a little bit of a lower low, and then now we're kind of firing back up, looking like we're going to continue up. On the stoches, we're about halfway to overbought, so still got a decent amount of time or amount of room to continue upwards as we run. It's looking like we'll at least get a little bit of a pullback here, according to the 15. So heading to the 5. Execution time frame shows accelerated sell pressure with no bounce attempt, consistent EMA rejections, and relative volume expanding on red bars. Okay, so looking at this, we kind of got that breakout of the volume very low, both of them, and now we're kind of firing back up. We're in the middle of the zone. You got MACD turning bullish, kind of same as 15-minute RSI. Is looking like we're starting to curl up to the upside. Stoches are getting to the point where they're kind of topped out, so possible pullback here before we continue a little bit higher. It's probably good because we are getting pretty close to that volume area high. EMAs are stacked to the downside, so you got the, like we were talking about earlier, you got that 200 there, 100. Purple, you can barely see it, but we got that 80 right there, and then 50 is above that, and then the last one is going to be that 21 on the very bottom. So stacked bearishly, more of a bearish sign. Yeah, that's really it for TA wise. That's kind of what we're looking at. So overall, the battle box is thinking we're pretty bearish. We're looking like we could have a possible turn here. I'm seeing some more bullish, but typically when you differ that much, it's kind of one way or the other. Especially if like certain interesting, we have that pocket at 110 area, we could definitely see a little bit of a dip to that 110 before we even move. Spirit Maker says it seems like a news week, and that could be true too. Maybe we're taking a little bit of a break because we have had a decent amount of news this week, and I'm just checked it out. But we do actually have some more news tomorrow. There's a PCE price index tomorrow that's high impact, so possibly another thing just coming out. So we could just be taking somewhat of a rest day, maybe just kind of like bouncing around. Not to say that we won't get a move, but could be just bouncing around. Maybe we'll actually get that breakdown before tomorrow, or maybe we'll just break down into this weekend kind of and then get ready for next week. That could be the move. We'll kind of have to keep watching this. Go ahead and run that battle plan, and then we'll call it quits. So let's build a battle plan. Alright. So we got some different trades that we could take. It's just the typical breakout, breakdown strategy. So our typical strategy is going to be that you either break out of the volume area high or you break down below the volume area low. And if we break out of that volume area high, or I guess vice versa, we're always looking for that 15-minute close above or below those levels, and then we're looking for a 5-minute retest of those levels after that. So right now we got the first one, I guess, is we got that breakout trade. So the breakout, we close above the 24-hour Okay, it's saying this time that we go for that 24-hour POC instead of volume area high. So essentially, if we break that 24-hour POC at 111, 789, about 111, 800, I guess. If we get that breakout and close to the 15-minute above that, and then we come and retest it, we'll be looking for an entry there. And then our targets are going to be 111, 615, which is okay. I don't know how it thinks that's a target, but you can't really say it's a target, especially when we're going up. It doesn't work, but it's not always best at targets. It's just trying to find some different zones. So not something that I would be targeting if I'm looking at it. Honestly, going back to the chart, you can see it's saying target the volume area high if you take the trade on the PSC. So you'd be losing money. But the first target I'd be kind of looking at is that 5-minute 200, just because there's possible resistance there, and I'm fairly certain we got another 200 pretty close to that, but my charts are not loading in right now. Oh, yep, there's another one. So we're kind of watching throughout it because there are some different 200s through there. So the 15 minutes is at 112, 500. The 5 minutes is at about 112, 250. So kind of that zone, we're kind of looking for that reversal. And then the next target would be that volume area high at 113, 190. So that's kind of the different targets we're looking for. And then if you wanted to continue up past that 114-ish area would probably be the next target that I'd be looking at. Moving on to scenario B, we got the breakdown short. So if we get that breakdown below our morning volume area low / the volume area low, so if we, like we did earlier, I guess we get that breakdown, close in the 15-minute, then we get that retest of that, looking for that down trade. 109 is going to be our first target, way down there. But I would actually say, so it says that's our first target on the battle box, but I would say be watching at that 110 area that we were talking about. Spirit Maker was mentioning, because if that is the golden pocket there, then that's kind of what we'd be looking for to reverse there. So you'd want to be at the very least watching it to get out. Be a little wearisome of getting out of that trade before we do get that bounce there. But the next target would be that 109, then 108 would be the third one that I'd probably be watching for. And then the last trade you can kind of do is just trade up and down through this sideways market. Nothing. The hard part about that is it is a little bit more advanced. So if you're good at that or you're interested in learning how to do that, you can check out the battle box yourself. There's some, use it to kind of teach yourself how to do it. We'll probably have some videos coming out sooner or later with a little bit more on trading that, but that is a more advanced technique. So and we're trying to focus on the live on being a little more inclusive, I guess, to the newer traders. So, and also, like, it is smarter to trade the ones that are a little more confirmed than just through this. So that's the ones we'll try to recommend more. Again, not financial advice, but that's kind of what we like to look at. Other than that, that's really it. Kind of don't have any news events, so nothing you have to really worry about today. Just some potential, I guess, volatility at 9 when there's that one news event. But again, it's a low impact one, so not too worried about it. Other than that, we'll have the levels from today's live stream going out on X at about 30 minutes or so from the like about 9, I guess. We'll probably have those out. And then the recap video is coming out at 10, so if you're interested in that, make sure you check that out. This one is packed full of extra content, and if you're interested in learning some more about trading, that's definitely a good one to check out. And other than that, that's really it. So hopefully y'all have a good rest of your day. Yeah. Just be careful and happy trading. We'll see you next. We'll see y'all next Tuesday at 8.